that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine.
Welcome to Greenlight Maine for a winner's mentoring session. Here on Greenlight Maine, we are helping to grow Maine's economy one dream at a time. I'm Don Gooding with MCED, and I'll be moderating this discussion between entrepreneur and mentors, as I often do in my day job. With us in the studio is Sean Meredith of Chimani, as well as three mentors who are going to help Chimani work through a pressing business issue that's a barrier to growth. So I'm going to introduce the mentors in a few minutes, but first, Sean, congratulations on Chimani advancing to the next level of competition here.
You bet. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
it's been a blast.
It has been a blast. And I know a lot of things have been going on in your business, but just to remind us all about that exciting business, we're going to show the winning pitch where your CEO, Kerry Gallivan, did a great job, and we'll come back and ask for a quick update.
Okay.
Thanks, Don, and welcome. My name is Kerry Gallivan. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Chimani. At Chimani, we develop mobile apps that improve the outdoor experience for people. Now, the problem that we're addressing is, let me just switch the slide. People are no longer bringing these to outdoor destinations. They're not bringing bulky printed guidebooks. Instead, they're showing up with these mobile devices. And that becomes the primary tool in which they're engaging and looking for information. But the problem that they run into at outdoor destinations is that most places don't have cell phone connectivity. And they're running to a phenomenon which we call information paralyzed, because they can't use their device to get access to information. Now, what we're doing at Chimani is that we're developing a series of mobile apps that focus on 4 core components of the experience to help people better plan their trips, to help them navigate when they're in these destinations, to help them socialize as part of the experience, and to help them discover more information about where they're going so they can enjoy it more. Now, we start with curated original content that we produce ourselves. It's very important. But then we start to layer in things such as professionally produced audio tours. We have a map, which is a topographic map, which is GPS enabled, so that people can still use it on their device. And then we add practical information such as tidal information, sunrise, sunset data, a bus schedule for the shuttle buses in the parks. But then we start to change the experience, and we take the fact that this is a personal computer in people's pockets, and we do innovative things such as an augmented reality viewer. So the next time you're on top of Cadillac Mountain, you can use our app to identify all the different islands that you're looking at. But then we take it one step further. We're introducing gaming principles to help younger audiences better interact with the outdoors and really change the tide with regards to outdoor engagement. Now, our customer is focused on what we call a windshield tourist. Now, windshield tourists is what typically a young family, they're retirees, and they don't go more than a mile away from the trailhead. We are not going after what we call the Red Bull crowd. That's not the bulk of people who are going to the outdoors, and particularly national parks. Now, the market opportunity is tremendous. If we look at just in the national parks alone, you have just under 300 million people who are going to the US parks, and they spend on average $24 billion. That's the market we're dominating right now. But then when you start to broaden it to the broader outdoor recreational economy, that's where you start to see 140 million people daily engage in the outdoor economy. And it's at a total market size of just under $700 billion.
Well, Sean, there's a lot going on in your business. Can you give us a quick update?
Well, a quick update for Chimani. One thing that we're really proud of is we now cover 24 of the largest national parks. So we just released several more. In fact, some coming out today in the next couple days.
That's awesome. Just in time for the centennial of the national parks.
Exactly.
Well, great. So now it's time to introduce our three mentors. but with an exciting twist. Because as we all know, great ideas can come from anyone. It's not about the credentials, it's about the creativity. And so I'm just going to introduce them by their first names. So you're not going to know whether or not they're a management consultant or a budding entrepreneur. All right?
Sounds good.
So first we have Mary Ellen.
Hello.
Thanks for being here.
I'm delighted to be here.
Yeah, you ready to ask some good questions today?
I think so. I think it's a fascinating product, so I'm looking forward to learning a little more about it.
Absolutely. And then we have Jim. Thanks for being here, Jim.
Hi, Sean.
Yeah. So you ready to bring everything you got to help him grow?
I want to make him sweat today and help him grow.
This is not the competition, though. This is helping. And then finally we have Patty. Welcome.
Thank you very much, and thank you for hosting this wonderful show. It's
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to having a good discussion. And so this is the elements we have here. We have a winning entrepreneur. We have 3 mentors who have all said they're ready and willing to help to a challenge for growth. And so we're going to take a short break and talk about that very real business challenge here on Greenlight Maine.
Please visit greenlightmaine.com to follow the progress of your favorite entrepreneurs and find information and resources about becoming an entrepreneur yourself.
One bank in New England, a Maine bank, was recognized for putting their customers first. One bank was recognized by J.D. Power for highest customer satisfaction with retail banking in the New England region. That bank is Bangor Savings Bank. We're honored. This award means a lot to us because you mean a lot to us. Bangor Savings Bank. You matter more.
It doesn't take much to change your entire travel experience. It's more than a flight, it's the whole trip. Connect to your world with daily non-stop flights to Atlanta, Detroit, Chicago, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Baltimore, Charlotte, and New York City. Portland International Jetport. Way better.
Please join us to find vital information on our website at greenlightmaine.com and be a part of our vibrant community on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Together, we're building Maine's future, one dream at a time.
We're back at Greenlight Maine with a winning entrepreneur and 3 anonymous mentors all ready to dig into a challenge to growth. So, Sean, lots of challenges building on the success you've already had. What would you like to talk about today?
You bet. One of the things that we've encountered quite a bit is basically this problem with brand awareness and trying to get people to find out about Chimani and what Chimani is and where they can get Chimani and how useful it can be. And so one of the ways we want to know a little bit more about trying to get more brand awareness, especially using some techniques that may be creative, such as brand partnerships.
That's great. I so love the fact that you're the Chief Technology Officer and you're asking a marketing question. Mary Ellen, over to you.
Well, brand partnerships is a good segue into what I wanted to ask you about. Tell me a little bit about what you've done to sort of broaden awareness of the brand, and have you established an affiliate brand marketing opportunity?
So not necessarily an affiliate brand marketing opportunity, but a couple of things that we have done. One, we have a large brand sponsorship right now with Subaru, and we're working on a waste reduction program with them to help bring up awareness around reducing waste in the parks.
That's great.
Another thing that we do is we're engaging with some local companies around the parks in the gateway communities and having them essentially have like a directory listing in our application, and then also they help with letting their visitors or maybe someone staying at a lodge or taking a tour to learn or get the Chimani app.
Gotcha. Jim, questions from you?
Where it's a technology company, one of the things I was thinking about when I was watching the pitch was if you're going to broaden this and do through affiliation, are you planning? Do you think of it in terms of, do you share values with the folks you want to affiliate with? Are there communities that would be a more natural fit to help grow more comfortably?
Exactly. That's actually a really great question. I think that's what we're leaning towards, right? So Subaru, as an example, tends to be an outdoors type company. The other things we've thought about are, clothing manufacturers, tent, camping type gear, recreational vehicles, things like that.
Gotcha. Patty, question from you.
I think what's important, thinking about your challenge today, is really tell me a little bit more about the folks that visit the national parks. Are they global visitors? Are they basically from the U.S.? Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Actually, they are global visitors. That's one of the very interesting things that makes our product very attractive. For instance, since it works offline, people coming from a foreign country don't have to use a mobile data plan while roaming here. So they can get the app, come here, and all the information's at their fingertips.
Very interesting.
And that's it. We tend to see, the demographic, as kind of mentioned, I think, in the earlier video, it's not necessarily the hardcore climbers and stuff like that. It's
But international markets are even more challenging then to get brand awareness.
Exactly.
Interesting. Mary Ellen.
We're talking about brand awareness, but a secondary and more important component of that is familiarity. So you're looking to get your name out there, Chimani, people to have an association. Can I Chimani at Cadillac Mountain? That's kind of what you're looking to do.
Yeah, exactly. You want it to be a verb.
The next step is, what do you do about building familiarity? What kinds of things do you want to see embedded in the message that people take away about your product?
That's a really good question. I don't have a really good answer for it yet. One thing that we do is we've been really pushing on kind of our 4 key principles. We help people plan, socialize, navigate, and discover. And basically trying to work that into our message so that if you're going to visit a national park, you want to do some planning around it, you want to socialize, discover, and navigate.
Jim.
I was kind of bringing it back to more global. What are the corporate goals? I mean, you want to get the affiliation, but what are you trying to achieve by getting your name out there? Grow the company, grow the dollar amount. Where do you want to take the company? How does this help you get to your ultimate goal?
Exactly. It helps us get to our ultimate goal. Basically, we want to grow the company to, if you think of a Lonely Planet guide or a Photos or something that people used to use a lot, right? You should think of Chimani and, use that guide. It's just we're in a different format now.
Okay. Great. Patty, one last question?
Sure. Congratulations on your 24 national parks. That's exciting. I guess I have just a kind of a off the question kind of question. Have you ever thought about regionally going after the market versus through national parks?
We have. We decided, we just picked the national parks as a niche first to start with because of primarily we've been attacking the largest national parks, and if you look at an Acadia or a Yosemite or Grand Canyon, basically there are a lot more people that go there than if we look at White Mountain National Forest, even though that's a sizable population.
Yeah. Although the challenge of trying to get familiarity on a national scale, of course, is a totally different thing than trying to be able to focus on a regional market.
That's true.
Yep. So interesting set of conundrums. So I think with all of those questions, I think it's probably time to turn it over to our mentors to get some initial thoughts about what Chimani ought to be doing to try to build that brand awareness. So
one of the first things that occurs to me is that, when I asked you that question about building familiarity and you talked about, 4 different cohorts in your target audience and how you were approaching them, I think that needs to be condensed really quickly. I think you need to have the elevator spiel. You need to be able to say, this is who we are, this is what we want to mean to people, and this is how we're going to get our message out. So you really need to think it through with a little bit more specificity, and I think you need to get some feedback from consumers who have used your product to help you see how they're incorporating it into their experience.
Okay. And Jim?
Building on Mary Ellen's point, almost monetizing that so you can continue to snowball the effects of what you're doing. You want to shorten that pitch, get out to the most people that you can, but also start turning that into dollars so you can expand what you're doing with that. And social media sounds like a natural way to start with those values, folks that share your values. So that's what I was kind of thinking.
Okay, great. great.
And I would
Patty?
agree. Distilling your message is important. I think that when you're looking at the folks that are visiting the national park, you really need to think about who they are and what are their value systems. I think discovery and exploration, particularly for the millennials, is key and critical on the social side. So I think expanding your business with that audience in mind is critical. So good luck.
Great. Okay. Well, we've heard now from the anonymous mentors. We'll be back in a little bit, but first, audience, what are your thoughts about how to address this business challenge? Feel free to post your thoughts for Chimani on Twitter at #GreenlightMaine or on our Facebook page. We'll be back after a break with our entrepreneurs' reaction to these ideas here on Greenlight Maine.
We help businesses increase sales. We help increase sales by providing business owners, chief executives, and marketing managers with effective advertising strategies and marketing campaigns. We help businesses increase sales by providing practical advice and tactical plans that are meaningful and measurable. We can help your business increase sales. Find out how at SutherlandWeston.com.
Hi, Ross here for Dysart's Restaurant. Everyone's having meetings, meeting about this, meetings about that, meeting about meetings. How ridiculous is that? Got a meeting? Meet at Dysart's Broadway. Look at my chart. Dysart's Broadway's got 3 meeting rooms. A big one, a bigger one, and an even bigger one. And the big one and the bigger one can combine to be even bigger than the even bigger one. How ridiculous is that?
Great food, great service, and a great place for your meeting. Dysart's Broadway.
Big and bigger's bigger than even bigger.
Dysarts.com.
Ridiculous.
I'm not thinking about health insurance all the time, but when I do, I know that Community Health Options is there for us. Whether we're getting a checkup, a test at the lab, or we're in the hospital, Community Health Options is there every step of the way. They'll help you get the most of your prescription benefits and manage any ongoing conditions, so you can think about other things.
Member-centered Community Health Options. Sign up or re-enroll for 2016 at healthoptions.org.
If any of you in our television audience has a big idea, we encourage you to visit greenlightmaine.com for a list of resources and information about starting your own business.
Welcome back to Greenlight Maine. We've heard about our Entrepreneurs Challenge, and we've heard some great ideas from our panel of anonymous mentors. So, Sean, which one of those would you like to focus the remaining conversation on?
Actually, they were all very good points, so it's kind of hard. One of the things I would like to do is maybe kind of focus on almost 2 of them in a way, and looking at, for instance, you mentioned kind of knowing our market and our customer, and tying that in with, finding the brands that would
to affiliate them.
To affiliate with, because we know a little bit about our customer in terms of demographic, where they tend to actually skew older than maybe you would think, right?
Interesting.
And we're mostly in the 30 to 45-year-old range.
Really old.
Really old.
Well, when a lot of people think of mobile, right, they think of, it's a 20-something.
So, affiliation for 30 to 45-year-old demographics. Any particular communities or brands that jump out, especially those that you might not think of?
I actually have a question to follow up, because I think that may dictate a response that's what you need. What have that particular age group, we know, and you mentioned millennials as well, but they're outdoor enthusiasts, they're very informal in their communications. What have you done to sort of get a sense from them about how the app works and the need that it fills for them? Because if they talk about it in their own language, you're going to have ideas for other connections that may make sense.
Right. That's it. So what we've done, I guess, so far would be more of just kind of local community outreach, talking to users maybe in Acadia, things like that. Also, we do try to engage with people if they submit us any questions or anything like that, and try to find out, what it is they like about the app, those kinds of things.
Okay. More thoughts? In terms of particular brands or communities maybe to be focusing on? So it sounds like there's still some work on your end to get the specificity there before people like us could be helpful, right?
Okay.
So,
reverse engineer it, right? So we have folks that are going hiking in these parks and they want to hit these. What are the things they need to gear up with to do it comfortably and well?
Okay.
Right? So break it down product by product.
Yeah.
And a lot of those companies will have their data on who their specific companies are, if they're publicly traded, will be readily available and in through some of the advertisements they do. So you can reverse engineer some of the demographics that they're doing, who they're doing it, what their income statuses are. And so I think you can kind of back into it by knowing what your customer looks like. So having the answer to these questions really helps drive that next one.
Great idea. And you'd think that Jim was an engineer, but now it's actually time to find out who these three folks are, right? So,
I'm Mary Ellen Fitzgerald. I am president of Critical Insights. We're a strategic market research firm based in Portland with a national practice.
yeah, so market research, yes. And
Jim Donnelly, Senior Vice President at Bangor Savings Bank.
yeah, great. And
Hi, my name is Patty Smith, and I work at Coffee by Design. I'm a strategic ambassador and cultural steward for the company.
yes, I should mention that Bangor Savings Bank has been a great sponsor of Greenlight Maine, so thank you very much for all of that support. It's always good to recognize your brands that are sponsoring you, right? Exactly. Critical in your business as well. Exactly. Want to make sure we don't overlook that. So now that we know the identities of our three formerly anonymous mentors, it's time for a quick break, and then we'll be back for some final thoughts here on Greenlight Maine.
As a leader in Maine and New England in providing integrated accounting, consulting, and tax services to clients large and small, the team at MacPage has proven to provide innovative solutions to help us better meet our clients' needs. We enjoy the people we serve and care about the work we do. The success of our business is based upon our ability to develop quality relationships, one client at a time. MacPage. Accessible, approachable, accountable.
One bank in New England, a Maine bank, was recognized for putting their customers first. One bank was recognized by J.D. Power for highest customer satisfaction with retail banking in the New England region. That bank is Bangor Savings Bank. We're honored. This award means a lot to us because you mean a lot to us. Bangor Savings Bank. You matter more.
Please visit greenlightmaine.com to follow the progress of your favorite entrepreneurs and find information and resources about becoming an entrepreneur yourself.
We're back for some final thoughts here on Greenlight Maine, and I want to start by thanking our three mentors who have come on the show, because mentors are so important to the growth of early stage companies, as you know from Top Gun, and I know you've got lots of great advisors now. So I'm going to give you all one more final thought to pass on to Sean and the rest of the Chimani team. So Mary Ellen?
Thanks. The thing I would suggest that you do really focus on for a while is to learn as much about your customers as you can. And I mean, go beyond the demographic scope and the experiential scope. See how they interact with your product, but more than that, see what else they're doing. What are their other hobbies? What are they doing in their spare time? How do they communicate? Where do they get credible information about products? How do they buy? That's going to really help you refine your approach to them and help you to identify channels that may lead to brand affiliates that are really helpful.
Yeah, and it's great, you know, even as the Chief Technology Officer, to make sure you're doing as much marketing yourself, because it's so important. Exactly. Jim?
We're all marketers, right? If
Absolutely.
our company's going to be successful, everybody's got to be
marketers.
thinking about that.
Yeah.
And thinking about the customer, which you have done, obviously, and being thoughtfully thinking about where and how they use your product is really going to, I think, take you to the next level. And those affiliations that Mary Ellen talked about are so important, and how you do them and making sure that each one builds on the other rather than detracts from the last.
Yep. And I would imagine Bangor Savings Bank spends a lot of time figuring out your customers as well.
We do. We do.
Yeah.
And in order to meet their needs, you got to understand who they are.
Okay. Patty,
and I think to further accentuate that community that you're building, what's important to them in terms of the values? And I think protection of the parks, service projects within the parks, because you've chosen national parks, there's a whole lot of gold to be mined there, I believe. And I think understanding that service component as people are experiencing the parks potentially could really link well with your product.
Yep,
that's
certainly.
a great idea. So Sean, a lot of ideas here. Any single takeaway?
Certainly. Well, I think, right, we have to do a lot of research.
Yes. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think that's a lot of it, right, is basically trying to track down, as you mentioned, what are those core values, and then trying to match those with some other brands to see if the core values line up, and then attack those brands.
Yeah, and there may be some great way actually on the technology side, because with Google, I know you have a new partnership with Google, leverage all of that to really understand them well.
Exactly.
Great. Well, we wish you very well for the company going forward, and also, of course, in the next round of the Greenlight Maine competition. Speaking of which, for those of you in the audience, please watch our Facebook page and greenlightmaine.com for announcements about the rest of the competition. We're going to have a live event to narrow down our 13 competitors to just 2, followed by the final 2 weeks of our online competition, where you can go to greenlightmaine.com and help pick a wild card, and then they will be on a televised championship event where one of the 3 companies will walk away with $100,000. We'll also let you know when we start accepting video pitches for next year's competition. And remember, if you want to start your own business, greenlightmaine.com has lots of resources for you. So keep thinking big and keep the positive feedback coming, especially for the companies that you see on the show. Because together, the Greenlight Maine community is helping to grow Maine's economy, one dream at a time.
Greenlight Maine has been brought to you by Bangor Savings Bank. You matter more. Greenlight Maine would not be possible without the support of all of our corporate sponsors. Thank you. Prize money for Greenlight Maine provided by Maine Accelerates Growth through a grant by the Maine Community Foundation. Outreach and community engagement in partnership with Maine Startup and Create Week. Furniture for Greenlight Maine provided by Thomas Mosier. Handmade carpets for Greenlight Maine provided by Mugalian Rugs. Broadcast facilities provided by the New England School of Communications at Husson University.
Give me that green light. Give me that green light, Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that green light, Maine.
Greenlight Maine has been a paid-for presentation by the Portland Media Group.